It's so nice to actually meet you. Like, I know we're not in real life, but this is cool that it ended up working out. Yeah, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us where you are because you're not in Australia.
Yeah, so I'm Emilie. I'm a German doctor or a German resident. I My studies in medicine ended like 2021, and I've been working ever since, full time in a really big hospital in Berlin. And it's a bit different system. So after we finish med school, we go right into residency. We don't have like an intern year or something like this because our intern year actually like because we have 6 years of med school. After 5 years you do like one full year of intern, I would say. So it's a bit different than your system. So I choose my residency right after med school, and I chose internal medicine and specifically cardiology. So I've been working in it ever since, and right now like we do rotations. I've been working in geriatrics, gastroenterology, cardiology, and right now I'm working in emergency medicine for the full year, and it's been super fun. But the meantime, I started like posting stuff on social media because friends were like, okay, so you have 24-hour shifts, but what do you do in 20 freaking hours? Like 24 freaking hours, like so long. And I don't think people like outside of medicine really comprehend what it's like to work in medicine. And actually, because I always like liked videography and stuff, I recorded like a quick little vlog, and it blew up. Like the first video on TikTok had like I think 800,000 views, and I did not expect that at all. Like it was not made for people to see. Like I had my name written on it, like because like as you post on TikTok, you never expect someone to actually see it except like your 20 friends who follow you. And I sent it to like my family chat and stuff. It was never meant for the public. And so I did another video because it was like my 24-hour shift, and I had like one like couple of days after, and the next video like blew up as well. And then I was like, oh wow, this is like a thing maybe. So I told my, like we call it chief resident, my boss, like the boss of the department. And because he's a really cool guy, he's pretty young as a boss. He's like in his, I think, early 50s or something. And he has like teenage daughters. And I like reckoned he knew TikTok. And he was so like, he was amazed. He was like, that's so cool. You can use it as advertising for our hospital and stuff like this. And so he like totally pushed me to do more. And I feel like that's been a super fun hobby next to like medicine itself. But I did everything in full time. So I worked the whole time full time. So in Germany, that means like 60, 70, 80 hours a week. And then like at nighttime, like because I have like 16-hour shifts like in the week every week, and it's like going until from 7:30 until 11:30. And then I come home, edit the video, post it probably the next day, but then went to sleep and woke up the next day at 6 again. And I did it for a full year. And then just like a couple months ago, I started down like reducing my hours because it's been like crazy pretty much. And I kind of earn more money now doing social media than earning money in the hospital, anyways.
Really? So it's really like overtaken it.
Totally. Like TikTok is just side hustle right now. I'm doing more Instagram. On Instagram, I have like 75K, I think. And ever since starting Instagram, like the offers came in so quickly. And I kind of like, I was not sure like what can I do? And Germany is like very specific on rules. And I noticed that as well. So I'm not allowed, as a doctor, I'm not allowed to like advertise lots of stuff, like pretty much nothing actually. So I'm only allowed to advertise certain things, so it's a bit hard. Yeah, supplements I can. Anything which is really medicine related, actually. So because it doesn't make sense because obviously medicine is the thing you should like advertise, because I shouldn't advertise like flowers or something. So I had my first cooperation with Litman, like the stethoscope. And I was like, wow, that's like the dream corporation. Like this is like what I use. Everyone uses the stethoscope. It's like the normal thing.
And especially as a cardiologist as well, you know?
Yeah, right. And I was like, wow, that's insane. And I got like 5K for that just one video. And I was like 5K euro, which is like probably like 7, 5, 8,000 Aus dollar. It's like so much money. And I was like, wow, this is what I earn a month, like normally working full time. And then I have like a 12-month deal with L'Oreal, for specifically La Roche-Posay. Like I don't know if you know, it's like they have like sunscreen, which is really nice and stuff. And they have like it's all like also cosmetic and everything you can imagine.
Is that technically considered medicine though?
Yes, I didn't know because like technically it's like decorative cosmetic if you think about it. But I posted the video and then in Germany like we have like states and I'm in Berlin, so my state of Berlin is like for me like responsible for me. And they wrote me a letter which was very like official and they texted in there like someone anonymously what's the word, like they put you out there, they reported you. Yeah, they reported me. Who would do that? And yeah, so and they told me I'm not allowed to do that. So I talked with L'Oreal and was completely fine. So we switched from showing products to just talking about like I had like a video talking about acne and stuff like this. So just like medicine talk, which is fine. So I've been doing that ever since, but still that because like advertisement for brands is super relevant to show the products obviously, but it works super well without actually. So I've been getting so many deals and in Germany like the medfluencer thing kind of blew up. There's so many and I was one of the first, so I think I like grabbed the most of the followers still. And so there's lots of brand deals and I reduced my hours now to 50%. Like I'm working like every 2 weeks pretty much right now, and it's been a dream. Like I don't know how I can ever go back and working more, but I think when I go to Australia, I gotta have to work more again. But it's been such an ease, like especially after 2 years of working full time and like having all the rough shifts and everything. It's been amazing. But I've been saving up everything because the move is still gonna happen, and I guess we gotta need more money to move.
Exactly, exactly. So much to like unpack there, but let's go back to the start. So you're a German doctor, you're like specializing in like cardiology, so like internal medicine, and then specifically in cardiology. You choose that specialty towards the end of medical school. It sounds like similar to like the US sort of style model, right?
Yeah, pretty similar. Yeah. So the difference is we do 6 years of med school and then we choose the specialty, but you can switch all the time. Like you need like certain like recognitions inside the specialty. Like you can't like switch from surgery to internal medicine the whole time. But like inside of internal medicine, you can like totally you have 5 years for internal medicine. And then in that time, you can go to different rotations. You can do endocrinology, pulmonology, whatever you choose to do. And in the end, you do one big exam after 5 years for internal medicine. And then you're like an internal medicine. I don't know what's the name.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We just call it like a physician.
Yeah, okay. Then you for the physician. And afterwards, you choose to specialize more. And for like cardiology, you can either specialize for 2 to 3 years, or you can do like a beginning, like you can do just cardiology, no internal medicine for 6 years. But that's not super common. Most people do internal medicine plus specification, which is similar to you.
Yeah, 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 it is. I'm not in the whole medical sphere. I'm more surgical orientated. But I think that's like how it works is that you sit like we call it like a BPT, so like their physician's exam, and then they do their physician's training, and then they become like an advanced trainee in say, geriatrics or cardiology, whatever. So
Yes, that's pretty much the same thing. But for you, you do 3 years after intern, right?
it depends. It depends. So some people, this is the interesting part, is that some people can be quite late on in their career and not be specialized.
Okay. We do have the same though, because you don't need to, like, you earn the same money in the end.
Yeah, but you still have to keep applying for jobs pretty much. I mean, like, because the main goal is to be like, do you guys call it like a consultant? Like, or maybe like I don't know what your top.
I knew what your consultant is, but that's everyone after like doing the residency. Everyone is a consultant right away.
Yeah, but like, so you have like a senior resident, and it's just you're a resident, but then you have a senior resident. That's it.
Well, we have junior resident, I would say, for the 5 years, and then after you did the exam, you are I don't know if there's a certain name for it, like you're specialized resident, and then you can choose to be a chief resident, and then it's like a super chief. I don't know, like it's like there's a couple of steps. No, no, we don't call it chief, super chief, but I don't think there's a certain name. So, like, what you consider consultant is everyone after residency. Like, you're consultant right away. You don't need to like apply for a job for it or something.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I think everyone's goal here is to get onto a training program, finish it, and then become a consultant in that field. Because until you've completed all your training, maybe do a fellowship, then you're not a consultant until you've done all that stuff.
Even after the fellowship.
So after the fellowship, you may be a fellow. Some specialties might not need to do a fellowship, or it just depends. But surgical ones usually have like a fellowship, and then after you complete that, then you can become a consultant.
Be consultant. Okay, and the consultant earn way more money, so it's like the goal.
Yeah, that's like you can't get higher than that in terms of like practicing doctor.
So how much do you think you earn more? Because right now, like we have like a open, like every public can see how much we earn as a doctor. And I feel like the jump is not as high, so people are not like having it as the end goal too much.
I think it's in the public, it's like capped, but most people want to do private practice
Like private, yeah, of course. Yeah.
because it's just essentially an uncapped field, right? So,
Yeah. For you, because our private is also capped. Yes. So the German healthcare system is rigged since years, and I don't know why. Like people like because I work with the Charité hospital, and maybe you know that that's one of the biggest hospitals, like where everything comes from in Europe. And I don't know why, but the healthcare system is so rigged. There's no money, no anyone can get an appointment, no one. Like people have to wait for like 6 to 8, 12 months to get like a specialist appointment. And it's horrible. Like people, like we have to like send people away from the hospital because they don't have insurance or something like this. Like it's a madhouse, and it's getting downhill so much. And I'm just ready to leave because I want to leave like the pile of fire behind me behind. And I know Australian healthcare system is not perfect either, because like it's like pretty similar to the NHS system, right? Like it's still like a British system.
yeah, I think it's a little bit better. We have a lot of people from the NHS coming across, and
Yeah, no, I talked to so many people, and I feel like for me it's pretty similar because I just want to get out of here and have a better work-life balance, because the work-life balance here is like it's so bad. And like obviously working part-time now it's pretty good, so I can complain now. But beforehand, and it's just a privilege that I can work part-time. Beforehand, it was not possible. 64 hours every single week. I had like 3 weekends at least I have to work through, and I had to work until up to 21 days every single day, and then I had like 1 to 2 days off. So for what actually? Because I feel like there's no need. Because we don't live like in a third world where you kind of like don't have like resources and stuff. Like no, no. The thing is like the politics. We have like pretty bad politics right now. It's like very right winged, and they don't pour too much money in the healthcare system anymore. So that's why like there are many spots, so many people from like outside come in, like Eastern European countries, or like even like Africa, Asia, everything comes in because we need the people, but they don't speak German, or like really bad. And it's like it's very bad, and that makes the people who are right winged even more right wing, because they're like, okay, my doctor doesn't speak English, like he speaks Arabic, obviously I hate him even more, you know. It's like everything really goes downhill right now.
yeah, man, it seems like it's a pretty tough situation. Um, let's go back and say, so you're doing this whole like residency thing, but you're now deciding to come over to Australia, and that's like your end goal. You're going to come over with your partner and maybe your dog as well. I know you were showing
Yes,
me the dog before, but you should actually bring the dog on.
a dog obviously. Show it again. Lily, come here. Lily, come here. She's a sleepy girl. Ew. It's Lily Potter. Yeah, it's a little rescue dog from because I actually didn't study in Germany. I studied in Romania because I always knew I wanted to move to like an English speaking country. And for me, it was always been the US because I did like my high school year abroad, like in 10th grade or something. And I was like, hey, USA is like the way to go. But as I got older, I realized there's more than just living there. You gotta have to like accept the political situation, everything. And so I had to like kind of change my plans. And like 2 to 3 years ago, I went to Australia, like a typical camper thing for like 4 months, East Coast. It was just a dream. And like it was for me, like, you know, like the state of the holiday where you're in and you're like, should I move here? Like, and it was like, okay, we should actually move here. Like, why not? Um, so that kind of started from there because Australia, I mean, it couldn't be any farther away from Germany. It's so far away. But it's such like after that year, last November, I went to Brisbane for a whole month to work in the hospital and to work with like a private practice to fly out to the outback and to kind of like ask lots of questions like how's residency, are you happy, like everything, because I've been working since 2 years, so I kind of knew what I wanted to have, and it's been everything is so positive compared to Germany that I first off I couldn't believe it. I was like, are you more polite? Because I mean, Australians are very polite people. Are you like just like saying, no, I'm happy like where I work? But I felt like people were actually content, which for me was crazy.
Yeah, I think like yeah, I have like a lot of good experiences working in the hospital, but I mean it's not always perfect, but no workplace ever is.
The hospital's never perfect. So for me, it's a big step because obviously Germany is not a place where you have to leave. It's not somewhere you have to go away, but it's such a big, big like wish of mine. Like I don't think there's many people going from Germany to Australia as a doctor. So I've been like, no, I've yeah, it's been really hard like to find lots of information on about it. Like it was more like NHS people, but for them it's way easier because there are you have like the kind of British thing, they can just move there. But for me, I have to do like a proper immigration. It doesn't matter if you're from India or Germany, it's the same thing, which makes sense, obviously, but like it's a very, very big step. And I have to do the AMC as well.
Yeah, I've spoken to a few people about this whole AMC thing, and it seems like it's a bit of a nightmare. I mean, especially the second part. But like, how have you gone like finding out like information about that AMC exam, and is it like easy to find information about it, and like have you don't have any like sort of resources that you
I went into like the deepest rabbit hole you can imagine, like because like the official websites, and you have many because I'm mostly looking into Queensland because that's like where we want to move, and they do have like every information out there, but it's like super complicated written, like not the English language is complicated, but just everything is like it doesn't make sense. Like I wrote down everything and I think I can comprehend a lot, but it's just like it didn't make sense to me, like lots of stuff. And I still don't understand like if I'm getting recognized, what I'm getting recognized, am I getting partially recognized? Do I have to repeat everything? Like nothing really makes sense. So from the standpoint where I'm right now, like most information I got from like blog posts and some YouTube videos. Like there's some like blogs like where people write stuff down. So that's like where like people from like India and stuff because they are in the same situation as me. So and I mean you have many Indian immigrants coming in and some podcasts. There's like two girls which are immigrants as well. One is from South Africa and one I don't know. And they had the same route and they're doing like a really nice podcast on the AMC, which is nice. But overall, it's been pretty horrible situation. Like it's been months of like extensive research, and I'm sure I have like 10% of it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Like I think like one of the whole reasons I'm trying to do this whole podcast interview thing is to get people's perspectives like yours. I've interviewed a few people already, haven't posted them yet, but they will be uploaded shortly. And it's people in similar situations where they're like, you know, trying to move from their home country and they're like, got no idea how to do it.
Yeah, like how hard can you make it?
it's ridiculous. And the scary thing is like it's like frustrating as well for me to see like everyone go through this, but we don't do the same AMC exams.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
We don't, and it's like that pass rate for you guys. They make it like so hard. It's like less than 20% or sometimes for these exams. It's nuts.
Yeah, I thought because I took the USMLE Step 1, which is the American board exam, but it's the same exam the American students have to take. So it makes total sense that I take it, obviously. And I do get that I have to take kind of like an entry exam to Australia, but I'm in the beginning of my residency and I have to like start over pretty much anyways. So why should I do like an even harder exam to come in if you're actively looking for people to come? Because I see all the posts like people like, I mean, obviously more like locum worker or like people going to the outback, but see still you look for like proper medical like stuff and you make it so incredibly hard for it.
Exactly. Yeah, it's very, very frustrating. But have you started studying for it? You haven't done your AMC part one, right? That's the gap.
No, I haven't done it and I'm procrastinating so much. But like our end goal is probably move this time next year. So like maybe June-ish. And because I'm working part-time right now and I feel like because like I looked at all the questions already, like many questions, and I did lots of recall. And for me, many of the questions are actually common sense right now because like I've been working for a few years and especially internal medicine. So I feel like as internal medicine, you are so ahead for the AMC. But obviously, I haven't done like surgery in years. Like it's been like 4 or 5 years since I had surgery as a subject in like med school for me. So I have to like do it from scratch, everything. So my plan is to start in November and then take the exam maybe like February, March kind of thing. That's the plan, but I'm procrastinating so hard.
No, fingers crossed. You'll get through it. And then, do you have to do the AMC two before you're able to get a job here?
No, so as far as I understood, because there are many questions out there, the AMC one is the entry. So when you have the AMC one, you can apply and you can apply for the visa. So I will do that. And then there's AMC2, which is either you take it in the year you're already working, or you can do like if you work in a hospital where they do an AMC program, like program where they recognize you after 1 year. But there's just like couple hospitals out there who do that. But there's one in Sunshine Coast, so maybe I'm hoping to get there. But so I have to do both tests.
Okay, got you. But just the first one before you can start working. Yeah, okay, cool.
Yes, yeah. Technically, I can start work, but I feel like I have to, like, I think I have to do the 38 weeks, like the 10 weeks surgery, the 10 weeks internal medicine, and I think emergency medicine is the third one.
How did you, so you said you came across, like you went to Brisbane and you were like asking people questions, and did you say you got a job about like asking residents and stuff? Or are you talking about like observership or?
No, observership. So I was just shadowing.
Got you. So how did you go about setting that up?
It was actually super easy, like because I don't know anyone in Australia. Like I have just a couple of friends down there in Melbourne, and I saw there was one organization which is called Heart of Australia, and they're based in Brisbane. And it's like one doctor who has a private practice, and on the weekends they fly out to the outback, and they actually have a really big truck, like a moving mobile clinic, and it's like a huge operation by now.
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, they're really big by now. And I just literally sent them an email being like, I'm from Germany. I'm super interested in coming down to Australia. Is there any way I can come down there and just like shadow observe, come with you? And they were like, right off the bat, they were like, yes, of course. When are you coming? And then I was like, I didn't expect because I was like, okay, maybe like, do I have to like documents, pay anything? And they were like so easygoing. So I booked my flights a couple months later and they organized so much for me. I didn't ask for any of that. They were like, okay, they have like a German professor in the Wesley Hospital in Brisbane. And so I went there and like talked to them and like shadowed for a couple days, like just doctors, like different floors, private and public hospital. And then on the weekends, I flew out to the outback in like private plane. It was such a surreal experience. And it was just because of the kindness of the heart. There was like nothing they wanted from me, anything, and which was so nice. And they like connected me to lots of people, especially like rural, like because rural you look for more rural doctors. So like organizations who like try to come get more rural doctors. So it's been such a nice experience. And another thing for me, which makes such a positive experience from Australia, that I want to come down there. Like afterwards, I was like, okay, I'm gonna stay. Like I'm not gonna go back. Like why should I?
You're already sold on it. That's awesome. So the main point of the observership for you was to get a feel for like what it's like working here, rather than, yeah, to get like a leg up. Because I know some people think that, or maybe it's sort of marketed as like observership is like a good way to.
No, I didn't feel like that at all because I didn't talk to like official people in the hospital. I only talked to like residents like you. So for me, it was more like because it was more like for getting the feel in, like, will I actually enjoy working there? Because like obviously it sounds like a dream, go to Australia, palm trees, ocean every day, you know? It sounds like the dream, but is it actually nice to work there? Because it's not a vacation. It's like living there and working there. So for me, it was yeah, and for me it was like, okay, but will I actually enjoy it more or less than in Germany? Because I'm doing such a big step in my life. Like I will move my entire stuff from another continent to the other one. Will I actually enjoy working there? And for me, it was totally confirmed. And I know, like, I'm not like super blindsided. I know that's still a hospital. I still have to do shifts, and I still have shitty like colleagues and shitty nurses and everything you can imagine. It's still a hospital. I hate and love my job, but will I like? I don't know if you know lots about the United States like system, because that is like the most rigged system you can imagine.
In terms of like getting in and getting jobs and stuff, or what do you?
That as well, but like they have like 80 to 120 hours, and I kind of hate working sometimes, like just like the thing of working, the process of working. So I could not do that. Like I couldn't handle that. Like sometimes 70 hours a week were totally enough for me. Like I had like almost burnout symptoms, like, and being like 26-year old, I shouldn't have that by now.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Yeah, I mean they work their doctors like very, very hard, and then like compared to even to the UK, like UK like work like really hard as well, and they have like pretty tricky conditions. And it sounds like you guys. It sounds like the only people who don't work are us.
Well, and there's actually Austria, which have really good condition as well. And I thought about going there, and lots of people go there, or Switzerland. There's similar good conditions, but for me, it's cold. I want to move somewhere where it's warm every day of my life. So that's why I won't move from Melbourne.
Yeah, you won't move to Melbourne.
No, I like Melbourne. It's very nice, but I couldn't do it. Like, if I changed continents, I will not have the same weather as here.
Otherwise, you just go to like Austria or Switzerland.
Yeah, right. So I thought about New Zealand as well, actually, because New Zealand makes it very, very easy for me to come in. I only have to work 33 months continuously, and I can move there directly with no extra testing. I think just an English test or something like this. But the pay,
No AMC or
no AMC, anything, but the pay is way less. Like the pay in the end, like as a resident, I think it's pretty similar, but in the end, the pay is pretty bad. And the housing, everything is way more expensive. So, and the weather, obviously, the weather is also not as nice.
exactly, you're getting to your cold again. But interesting. I didn't know that about New Zealand, that you wouldn't have to do AMC exam.
Yeah. I thought about going there as a loophole, actually.
Well, I was going to say you go there and then come across from us to Australia, but is that too tricky?
It doesn't work. Yeah, I really tried. Like maybe it's a loophole because I have 33 months. I can go there, and but you have to have permanent residency in New Zealand, which you get after a few years, obviously. And then that you have to take, because you're not like real. You didn't go to med school in New Zealand. You have to take the AMC afterwards, anyways. So it's not a loophole after all. And I'm not keen to go to New Zealand. And I figured I'd rather do it now, being still young, being resilient, than doing it later on.
Exactly, exactly. So that's really cool. I'm excited to see how you go, and then eventually you'll come down here. You'll be working on the sunny coast, and you'll love it. And then you'll be like maybe you'll do the heart of Australia, and then you'll like do that trip or something.
I've been thinking about it. I actually really enjoy like urology as well, so surgical. So yes, I really do. Yes, do you do urology or what?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to. Well, yeah, that's my aim to try to get into that.
I really enjoy that because like it's such a nice, especially you can go lots of surgery, but you can work as a private practice as well. So such a good mixture. And because I did my doctorate, my like I have like a doctor title. I don't know if you have that as well. So I wrote like the thesis and stuff, and I wrote it in plastic surgery, especially in burn surgery. Like, is it called like this? And then I wanted to go to urology, but I thought surgical has an even worse work-life balance than internal medicine. Such a stupid thought. So now I'm stuck in internal medicine, and I feel like if you start out in intern med, you can never go back to surgery. Like it's such a weird feeling because like right now I work like hand in hand with surgery because I work in the emergency department. And I look at the medication, I know everything by hand, like everything by heart, and they're like, mm, no blood thinners. and if and for me it's like, okay, but he has like 20 other medications which are important. I feel like you're such in a like a tunnel vision. So but I thought about doing advanced training because I heard you can do GP, like a general practitioner, and you can do advanced training as a GP.
Yeah, you call. I think I'm not too like versed in like the whole GP sphere, but you there's two different colleges. We have like the RACGP, and then we have ACRM, and you can essentially do these like dual trainees or become a GP, and then also have like I've heard of people, and I've seen people at the hospital who are like GP anesthetists, GP ED. So yeah,
I met a couple of them. I feel like that's such a great thing to get more out of your job because like you can still be GP, work in private practice, but have like fun times 2 times a week in the operation room, you know? So let's see if I'm that ambitious in the end because I feel like maybe once I get through all the stress doing the AMC, working in a whole new system, like a different language, like obviously like I can speak English really well, but it's still exhausting at the end of the day.
'cause I know you were like, like not too sure about it, and you said you needed some practice, but you were like, yeah, it's perfect. Don't worry about it.
Well, it's in Berlin. Like everyone in Berlin speaks English. Yeah, so it's like for me, it's like I speak like every couple of weeks I speak English, and I try to watch everything in English, and I'm trying to get into the kind of the thing. But it's still I get fatigued in the end of the day because if I talk like English all day, I'm still fatigued because it's not my first language. So there's lots of stress coming towards me. So maybe I would just end up as a GP, which I'm completely fine with. I can imagine myself in like a in sunny coast in a nice like clinic with my dog. Like that would be the end goal.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And is your partner medical as well, or
No, I'm so glad. That'd be horrible. No, I feel like very horrible mixture because you would never see the partner ever again. And no, he works on like like solar. Do you say solar like photovoltaic? And that's like the perfect business for going to Australia. So and yeah, right. So we were thinking about that's like the perfect thing. So when I get my visa, my partner, it doesn't matter if we're married or not, will get a visa as well to work. So that's a very nice thing. So we don't have to be married. Like we only have to prove that we are in like a de facto long-term relationship. And obviously, moving together to another country kind of makes proves that. I would say so. Yeah. So yeah, that's the plan.
yeah, that's awesome. So you said at the start like you did the USMLEs as well. Did you did you want to go to America, or like why did you do the USMLEs?
Yes. So I was like in Germany when you go to med school, it's pretty hard to get in. So it's like extremely hard to get in. You need like the perfect GPA and everything you can imagine. And I did not have the perfect GPA. And for me, I could have done like a couple tests to make my GPA better, but I was like, I don't want to stay in Germany anyways. So let's go to another country. And in Europe, we have quite a few possibilities. Let's go to Romania in this case and study in English. So I did study my entire medical school was completely in English. So I do have kind of like advanced from because like for me, when I read studies, I still read them in English because it's way easier for me to understand them even in German. So third year rolls around and we have like family friends in the US. And I visited one friend, she's a cardiothoracic surgeon, or she was a fellow at this point. And I visited her and being like super ambitious, being like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go on this field as well and stuff. And then she told me about how much she works. And she was like a mid 30-year-old like woman, but no partner, no family, nothing. She's never home because like you work so much. And I was like, that's like my biggest nightmare. Like that's like the worst thing I can imagine. So I was like, maybe it's not US. So I kind of was in a crisis at this point, but I already started studying for the test. So I did my step one, I passed, but like there was no point of doing further because I would not want to go there. I don't want to be that miserable. So and US is crazy. Like, and then COVID hit when I was in fifth year. And I don't know, like, because I was during COVID, I was in Australia. For you, was a bit different than for us, but Europe went to the biggest lockdown you can imagine. Everything was closed. Everything was closed for like almost 2 years. Like restaurants were closed, hairdresser was closed, tattoo artist, like weird example, but was everything was closed. And I worked as a nursing assistant during that time because my university was completely online at this point. So I worked full time because I didn't give really a shit about like doing online university. So I had some fun experience of being a nursing assistant, I guess, but it was still like I don't feel as homey here as somewhere else. Like my parents lived all over, so for me it was clear I have to go somewhere, and it can't be the US. So what's the other like what's the alternatives? It could be Canada, but Canada's pretty nice, but it's too cold. South Africa, it's kind of not super safe, and it's you can like pretty much only live in Cape Town as like a white woman. So I don't want to like have my family growing up in like a not super safe situation. And lots of German people go to the Emirates, like the Arab countries, to Dubai and stuff like this. But same thing, political thing. As a woman, I don't feel super safe, and like I don't think you should move there. And like like yeah, I don't think you should move there. And then so was only like Australia and New Zealand left. So and I mean Australia is like the dream of every German people. And I feel like maybe you know, but so many German 18-year-old go to Australia, do like the whole backpacking trip for a year because like such a dream country. Like when you like grow up in Germany, Australia is like the dream country to go to. So it's like everything, like the kangaroos, everything you can imagine. So you kind of grow up with like the paradise, like paradise thought of Australia. And I feel like because I saw lots of Australia, like all the East Coast, like some of the South Coast, and I went to Outback, and it's such paradise. It is paradise compared to Germany.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I mean, I've been to Germany, but there was one time before. But yeah, I've never had that feeling. It's interesting of like when I travel, I've never had that feeling of like, oh, I want to move to this place.
Oh, really? Every single country I've been to.
Yeah, every time I'm like, oh, it's probably still good back home. Actually, the only time I thought it'd be cool to live there would be New York, like actually live on like Manhattan. But I mean, you have to have like so much money and like have all your shit sorted. So um, I mean, that was just such a far fetched thing.
Hmm. Yeah, I feel like that Germans are very not very content in their life. And I feel like that's such a culture thing as well, but especially the young people, because the future doesn't look too bright here. And all the people who are like really well educated have this kind of thought like the future maybe doesn't look too bright in Germany anymore. So you kind of have to broad out. So I feel like that's kind of a thing we get from really early on. Like kind of a thought which gets laid in our head from really early on that maybe Germany is not somewhere where you have to stay forever.
Yeah, yeah, that's really interesting. Did you ever have a thought of like finishing off your specialty, becoming like a fully qualified like cardiologist, and then moving across to Australia? Because I know that that is an option, but could be tedious. I'm not sure what's better.
So that's what I read from, that's pretty much easier. It's an easier process because you go through a different kind of process from the medical college, and they kind of do if you're recognized as a specialist or not. But Germany has pretty good like recognition factors to Australia. So that's actually a really good option, but it means I would stay here for like at least 4 more years. And for me, that's like the total. I would rather go into hell, do all the AMC testing, than stay a single more year here and have one more winter depression in Germany. So that is an easier process overall, what I heard from, what I read from. But for me, because I'm only a third year, and now I reduce my hours to part time, which means I have to pretty much double that time, anyways. That would mean years of working in this system and living in Berlin. So, no.
Yeah, fair, fair. Because yeah, I've heard of different people. I mean, it's different in if you like in the UK and you finish a specialty and then come across. I think UK and Australia have a really easy time going across or back and forth. Uh, if they want to come across and they're already qualified, then they can just pretty much automatically get a job. I mean, I'm sure there's much more to it, but yeah, that's an interesting thought. So I guess probably easier to go through all this AMC stuff and work your way up. Because I mean, it's like it's not even just the exams part of it. It's like getting to know the people and getting your references and getting experience with the whole health system here to
And I feel like it's great because if I go as a specialist, I'm super like into my work already. Like maybe it would be like such down step even to go to Australia and working my way up there as a specialist. So I don't want to get into that like kind of mental thing. So for me, I just start over. Like I'm still super young. Like even for Germany, I'm still very young to finish med school, finish like being a third year already as 26. So because I started work going to med school at 17 and I finished, yeah, I'm pretty young. So like in Germany, like your high school goes until like between 17 to 20, depends on when you get into first grade. And I was pretty young, so 17. I went to the med school right away and I stopped, like I finished when I was 23. So for me, I'm still very young and I have colleagues who are like the same age as me in first year. So like maybe as you. So I feel like I have an advantage over that as well.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you got time, you got heaps of energy and stuff. It's exciting. It's exciting.
The energy I don't know about, but
Yeah, probably have worked more hours. You've probably worked double or triple the amount of hours that I've probably worked.
yeah, probably. And it's crazy to think about that. So I'm very excited to have like a normal 40-hour week. Like what a dream. Like or even less, like is it normal to work as like 75% and stuff like this, or is it not super looked upon on?
I mean, like, so 75% of like full time. I mean, you can. There's different things that you can do. Like, you can definitely like work part time. You can job share with people where you might share a contract for a year, and that's essentially like a part time. But I mean, I think if you want to get into like your specialty, get onto your training, most people just do like the usual full time contract. And it is only what is it like?
But it's only time, right? Like because like I would only lose time, or would I lose like attractiveness to the job as well?
Yeah, I mean, it's exposure, it's like contacts. I think there's a whole like range of stuff, but I mean, yeah, people just want to see that like you're rocking up each day and like doing the job and stuff, but I don't think it's gonna negatively impact you from a time perspective, you know?
Because I feel like in Germany, people start like, especially my age, they don't, never work full time anymore. Because like, I mean, full time for us is way more than for you, anyways. But I feel like people work 50%, having kids obviously as well. 50%, 75%, 80%. Not many work 100% anymore, or try not to work as much anymore. So for me, that's like a pretty normal thing. I would love to not work full time, having time with my dog, stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not too sure how much like flexibility. Like, I haven't really heard too much about like 70%, 80%, 50%. I mean, we really only distinguish between like full time and part time, from my understanding.
Okay. So part-time is 50% for you, or what is part-time for you?
Yeah, like half, yeah, like 50%, yeah. Yeah, like our usual hours is like 40 something, like maybe like 44 rostered hours, and then yeah, you have like your overtime and whatever on top of that. But, definitely not your, I mean, people could do a whole lot of hours, and I mean, there are people out there, and I'll probably have a few of those weeks a year where you do like almost like 80 or something hours in a week. And
You pick up shifts and stuff?
yeah, or you might just be rostered for a full weekend, and you'll have like
Hmm.
your full like 14-hour shifts on weekends back to back. And then
Plus the 40 hours in the under the week. Okay, yeah, I gotcha. Good.
sometimes that does happen, and you stay back, you do your usual overtime, just like normal doctor stuff. Incidentally it happens, but
So for me, because social media is such a big part right now of my life, and I do want to continue doing that. And I would love to continue doing it in Australia as well. So that's my one of the things, working part time only. I have like an agency and stuff already at this point who does stuff for me. Like, and when I went to Australia, actually, air med scrubs.
yeah.
Yeah, they sent me stuff to like already like do ads and stuff like this. Like it's super nice. So I can imagine like going there. Maybe your medfluencer scene is not as big yet, and it should be super interesting for people to hear about like a different perspective coming from Germany, and also for my German followers, which are obviously mostly German, to see the perspective of going to a different country. And so I've been trying to incorporate both. Like I post some English videos to get both followers in, but I have to see how I will do that because I feel like it's such a nice, it's super lucrative, obviously, as well, but it's such a nice hobby on the side as well.
I think you need to have like something that distracts you, or something that takes your mind off it. If you're just going to work and then home and then work to home, it's like,
I did that too long. It's not nice. Especially in Berlin, like I'm not into the whole Berlin scene. Like I live like in the typical like my part of where I live in Berlin, it's like the techno kind of scene. It's like everything you know about Berlin, it's just exactly where I live. But I'm not in that kind of scene anymore. So for me it's like super exhausting to hear about all my friends having like all-nighters like from Friday to Monday, and I'm working from Friday to Monday. It's like so for me, it was just more exhausting than like a nice change. So I don't really enjoy living in the big city anymore. That's one of the reasons why I cannot imagine to go to Sydney or to go to Brisbane or Melbourne because I just want to go out, like have a relaxed.
yeah. You just need to be by the beach, set up your GP practice or whatever.
Yeah, that's I mean that's like my Australian dream.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely perfect. Um, yeah, look, that was like awesome. I'm yeah so glad that you were able to share all that with us. I mean, that's super cool to hear like about someone from Germany coming like all the way over here to like eventually like live and work as a doctor.
Yeah. So maybe when I'm like deeper into my resource and practice and research, maybe we can have another talk, like maybe in a year or something to tell like where I am right now.
You'll tell me this time next year that you've passed the AMC exam, you've booked your flights, you're at a place on the sunny coast, and yeah, you're coming over here to work. That's yeah, I can't wait. So let me know how you go with it all. Hopefully, get it done first shot, done and dusted. I have no doubts about it.
Oh, me either. That's like the manifestation.
It's 100% manifest.
Manifesting, first pass, everything super smoothly. People will love what I do. People will hire me 75%, will allow me to film in the hospital. That's everything I need.
Exactly. No, I'm looking forward to it. No, but thanks so much for the chat. I mean, if there's anyone else, if you had any like sort of advice for maybe they're in Germany and they're like wanting to come over to Australia, or maybe it's from like a different country and they're thinking about it for the first time and just trying to get their whole head around it, is there any sort of like advice you would give that person who might be listening to this?
Yes, talk to so many people. The more the better. Like I feel like because I talked to you and I talked to like I saw all your videos, I feel like having the community is so important, because like being all alone, there's no one around your like friendship circle who has the same thing as you. So talk to people, like the right people, like text them, be like, sorry, I don't know you, but I feel like I have so many questions. And actually, I like, not even you, I googled on TikTok. It's such a Gen Z thing to say. I was like, Australian doctors, and there's like a couple of people who like do videos, and I just straight up texted them being like, do you enjoy working, like do you like it, can you like give me tips, do you like I just ask people. And I feel like that's such a nice thing, because people are never like not answering. People are always like ready to help out. Like, of course, like let me share everything I know. So sharing is caring. And I feel like that's the same thing I want to do. And I did some videos in German already, like helping people, like how is it about, like, because it's such a big thing. Like you have to talk to people. You cannot do everything by yourself in your head. Like you changing your whole life. Like you have to talk to, you need someone to grasp onto. So sharing is caring, talk to people. So that's, I think that's the biggest advice I have, because I felt so alone in this process, because no one really feels what you feel. And it's everything makes like, I get so motivated. Like I talked to my partner yesterday being like, yeah, I'm gonna talk to like Australian doctor tomorrow. And then he was like, oh, like so exciting. Like that's such a like closer step to actually like having like reality coming in.
Yeah, that's really cool. Awesome. Well, hopefully that person gets some benefit out of that advice. I know I definitely would if I was in that situation. But yeah, let's wrap it up there. Hopefully we'll
Yeah, you have to go to bed.
have to go to bed. I had to go to bed an hour ago, but
Oh, geez.
no, I'm just an early bird. And you'll soon be an early bird as well, which will be cool.
Fingers
Um,
crossed.
fingers crossed. But yeah, let's wrap it up there. We'll chat in a year when you pass your AMC and you're on the way over here, which would be cool.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
if you want to come to Berlin, let me know.
Hey, I think I might
Like,
pop over.
yeah, you're more than welcome here.
All right, so that's the end of that conversation. If you want to be part of something like this, you think you have an interesting story in medicine to share, maybe it's how you got in, and maybe it's that you got on a different training program or you went through some adversity, that's something that you think you'd be interested in doing, then send me a message. The link will be in the description how you can get in touch. If you know someone else that's probably keen to share their story, or you think that they would be a great person to share on this, then definitely link them in and we can get them on. If you want to stick around, there's plenty of other videos on here to check out and keep you informed, keep you interested, and keep you learning more about medicine. So there you go. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Bye.